Brian, what was your reaction to Jerry Jones' comments there?
Jenna, I just had to get into my billionaire mindset. If I had a couple $1 billion and I owned America's team, I had a football thing, and there was an expectation that my team was skilled enough, talented enough to be a Super Bowl team, I probably would feel just like Jerry Jones. The other part to that is, with all that talent that we had on our roster, we should be going out and getting the best coach available. We want the best of the best. And he came back with Mike McCarthy, and up to this point, Mike McCarthy has disappointed. So I understand how Jerry Jones feels. I understand that he feels like we've been cheated in some way. And to be honest with you, there is some type of issue. Here are four things that I think are the problem: effort, carelessness with the football, penalties, and injuries. Three of those things fall upon Mike McCarthy's shoulders. He has to be able to fix effort, penalties, and carelessness with the football. He can't control the injuries, but it's the head coach and an extension of Jerry Jones, because he picked the head coach. Those are the reasons why this football team continues to lose and be a disappointment. They have to figure a way out. And unfortunately, looking at the head coach and the people that the head coach hired has to be the beginning of that process.
Yeah, I absolutely think that there's a leadership void there, and I felt that for some time now. You do have Dak that's sitting there, and he's obviously hurt now, and he was that guy. I don't think Dak was that emotional guy. He was that type of leader that led by his work and how he approached work every single day. But when you look at that roster, you just don't see that guy. You don't look at it and say, oh, that's the leader. And then you can look at the sidelines right now. What you should see on the sidelines when the Dallas Cowboys take the field and they're losing, you should see those guys getting after each other. You should see those guys having healthy communication, right, where they should be holding each other accountable. You just don't see that. Guy blows the coverage. Nobody says anything. Nobody even picks the guy up. Nobody yells at the guy. They just go back to the sideline. You know, guy throws an interception. Guy fumbles the ball. Nobody says anything. Not a coach, not a player. Those are the things that you want to see coming from the sideline. When you see that, you'll then see the leaders emerge. I don't know who that is. If you look across the NFL, you can say, wow, that Bobby Wagner, that is the leader. Oh, that Russell Wilson, that is the leader. When you look at this team, I can't tell you who that is.
Brian, I got a question for you. There's no one on the Cowboys who's officially the captain, where then no one's wearing the C on the uniform because Mike McCarthy does it another way where he's like, we're going to pick captains every week. You're a captain. You're a captain. You know, it's like my son's soccer team. Do you think that when things are going well, that works? But when things are going bad, it's like, well, we got to talk to the captains. Also, who's the captain this week? I'm not quite sure.
Well, you know, when I was in Philadelphia, Andy picked captains, different captains every single week, but he had a core group of leaders that he would meet with that held the team accountable. Right now, one of the biggest problems with Dallas, and Brandon, you talked about it, is who are those leaders? Well, Zeke is certainly one of those leaders. La'el Collins is one of those leaders. Tyrann Mathieu, he's one of those leaders. And those guys aren't playing very well. Lawrence, he's one of those leaders. Those are the guys that aren't playing very well. So you're asking these guys that are injured, you're asking who are the leaders where they're either injured or aren't playing very well. So they can't be the one to step up and say, hey, we need to play better, because everybody else will be turning around and say, well, you need to play better. You need to do a better job. The other thing that I have to point out is
but doesn't that say a lot? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but doesn't that say a lot? But how many times have you had a bad season, Brian? You can have a bad game. You can have a bad couple games, but you can't have a bad season. I can't tell you have you ever had a bad season?
No, I've had seasons where I should have done a little better, but no, not a bad season in that way. No.
But that's
the
my
Dallas
thing.
Cowboys have to have some.
When you talk about,
they have some issues where they need to get their leaders, whoever those guys are, need to play better. That's the thing. And when you have guys like Xavier Howard coming out saying the things that he said, the next person that you should have heard from in that locker room was a leader stepping up and saying, that's not Dallas Cowboy football. That's not how we're going to play here. We need to set the standard differently. Unfortunately, we haven't heard that from anyone in Dallas.
Yeah, they need to go out and figure out, and it's not going to happen right now. It's going to happen after the season, but they need to go find that Bobby Wagner. They need to go find that old school Ray Lewis type of leader. Guy that's going to be in your face every single day, not in a bad way.
That guy. They thought they paid that guy in Jalen Smith. They paid Jalen Smith before they had to, in part, not just because he's an excellent player when he's healthy, but we saw him at Notre Dame. At Notre Dame, that's who he was. That's who, and so I'm not blaming. Jalen Smith's a young player, so I'm not saying he can't grow into that. And maybe they thought they had Leighton Vander Esch, who once again, by the way, has been in and out of the lineup due to injury, broke his collarbone, is coming back. I want to talk about the other part of this, though, quickly, Jenna, which is Jerry Jones. I had 2 points on this. First one is this. Jerry, you don't have to apologize. You're talking to grown-ups. It is an unpopular take. People should tell other people to shut up more often. Sometimes people need to shut up. Jerry, it's totally fine what you did. You're doing that radio interview with my old buddy, Sean Sharif. I know Sean. Jerry knows Sean. Sometimes Sean needs to shut up. So, Jerry, no problem. I got you back there. That's first. Second of all, I feel terribly for Jerry Jones. And I know it's not in vogue to ever feel badly for rich people, much less billionaires. I get it. But think of Jerry Jones is damn near 80 years old. He is not under the NFL PA contract where he has to do a weekly media appearance. You know why he does it? Because he loves football and he loves this team. And of all the great things going on in his life, the thing that he wants to bring him the most joy is his football team playing well. And they're awful. The only team in the league this year that's looked worse than is the Jets. And the Jets are so bad, Jenna's about to tell you, folks might actively avoid them. And so Jerry's out there, he's waking up early, he's talking to Sean Sharif and RJ on the radio in Dallas, and he's like, God dog it. We were supposed to be in the Super Bowl, and instead you're asking me if we got leaders. I can't handle it anymore. Tony Romo broke his collarbone. Dak Prescott broke his ankle. Zeke got suspended. I paid the wrong people. I hired the wrong coach. I'm almost 80 years old. So I feel badly for Jerry Jones. He wants this as much as anybody in the world, and every year it gets pulled out from underneath him, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.